Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of my Let's Play series. This is now episode 4 and you're joining me at the save file for my previous server. The one that we're currently playing on where we're doing that massive monument area is the 4th. This is the 3rd. And this was the original design for the industrial area. And this was what I was going to build in this server. And clearly it's not finished. It had a sick guardian farm that isn't as effective as it could be, because if we fly down in here we can see that there's a lot of spawning spaces where guardians can just chill and not come into the farm and die, and it's not the best up in here either. So it was a good farm. I got plenty of drops because I wasn't selling it and I wasn't using much of the prismarine, to be honest, so it was good for what it needed to be. But the next one I'll be building is going to be a lot better because the entire monument will be destroyed. Anyway, so I came to show you this is my storage area for this industrial area, and it's very much been the inspiration of the new one that I've designed. There's a lot of storage for a lot of farms that weren't built. None of the wool farms were constructed, those were, and things like the cactus and the melon and pumpkin and the netherwort, they didn't get done either. So it was just the hostile mob farm, which is that absolutely chugged them out. The best design I've ever used. The sugarcane farm and the guardian farm are the only ones that were made. But yeah, just wanted to show you this prismarine design down the bottom and explain how it is the inspiration for my next design. And that brings us to this, which is my design for the current server's industrial area. And it's clearly a lot bigger. Like, probably one of these sections right there would be the size of the entire old one, but this one's a lot bigger. There is a lot of glass on the sides, which I don't love, but they have to be there for the storage, for the item sorters at the back. But yeah, so if we fly around, I don't think I've decided fully on these designs at the bottom here, at the bottom of the pools. Like, it could just be prismarine and prismarine bricks alternating in that sort of cross design, or I could introduce some streaks of the dark prismarine as well, because they are very nice. Anyway, so yeah, I went with a circle design because I just love circles in Minecraft, unsure why. I will have some beacons in through the center because that looks absolutely sick. Not with diamonds blocks down the bottom because I just don't have that much diamonds, unfortunately. And yeah, so this warped pipe is how the items will get sent around the entire thing. So they'll get sent up this from the farms, they'll come through pipes up this water elevator right here, and then they'll just flow around this way, and once they find the chest that they are allocated, they will drop in. But if, for example, this one, let's say we want this one to be sugarcane, if it's sugarcane it'll go in there, but if it's not sugarcane it'll just skate over the top to, say, if it's prismarine crystals, it'll go over to the prismarine crystals. So that's how that works. And I'm just going with the classic Impulse SV item sorter at the back here, the best design I've ever used and will ever use, because it's perfect. It's never failed me. Obviously these hoppers will go all the way down, and I've got one of those on all of them, and that is exactly why I couldn't have chests behind this glass here. Although that would have been cool, would have meant that the redstone overlapped. So if we had a chest here, the redstone would first of all interfere with this, but it could also line up with this incorrectly. So we'd have a situation like this. Let's say we had that like that, and then if when I fill up this one, this would power this redstone dust too much, and that'd just break this item sorter. So it just can't work like that, unfortunately. So I've gone with a lot of glass around the outside, but I'm kind of happy with that because it gives a good view of the farms or whatever's outside. Now, while we're in the creative mode, I'll do a quick show of my design for the ocean store. This is going to be where the portal is. I messed up the clone command, and that's why this is all empty, but that's where the portal currently is, and the steps go down this way. And this is my creeper area. This is the design that I used for the redstone. That is perfect. I'm going to press the button. I just love it too much. Completely irrelevant to what I'm talking about right now, but it's very cool. Anyway, so yeah, I designed an ocean store. I love the letters at the top here. That was originally just going to be empty and have this H2O sign at the top that should have slabs across all this way, but I seem to have forgotten that. But yeah, this top area may change just because of the way I designed it. I designed it over here first, and then I just cloned it over so I didn't have to build it again. And so this top area isn't perfect. What I'll probably end up doing is having the water over this side more, and if I do a billboard, it'll be over this side, and probably say something other than H2O, but that I'm not sure. That is subject to change at this point in time. But yeah, it's just a repeating skyscraper sort of sort of look that I'm really kind of happy with. Used ice as the windows that I'm very, very satisfied with. I think that ties in very well, especially because I believe I will be selling ice in here. And yeah, so this is just the base. So this is going to be a piston door. Unsure. Oh yeah, I forgot that it's waterlogged in there. We'll just break that for now. It'll either be a vault door where it just opens up in a swirl, which is really cool, or it'll just come up from the floor either way. And yeah, as you can tell, the entire thing is waterlogged. That is by design because it's an ocean store. We'll straighten that up. And it just makes a lot more sense, and it's kind of cool. Plus, I get the ability to show off the conduits that I will be selling, and these ones are going to be really hard to get to sell, but I've found a new way of collecting Nautilus shells and tridents at night, so that the selling tridents and selling Nautilus shells as well as selling Nautilus shells as well as conduits shouldn't be all that difficult. Anyway, so we'll go to the store that the items that I'll be selling. So I'll sell prismarine bricks, dark prismarine, and sea lanterns, all from the Guardian farm, which is why I'm going to make sure that's very efficient. I don't expect to get many sales at all, but it'll just be cool to have a stocked up store. I'll also sell ink sacs that I hope we'll be getting from the Guardian farm, because I was able to do that in the last server, but if I can't, I'll just build a new farm. That's fine. Also with the glowing ink sacs in 1.17, which comes out next week, which is sick. If the glow squids are able to spawn in my Guardian farm, that's great. I will be able to sell that, but if not, I might make a new farm solely for that, but I'm not too sure on that. Sea pickles I'll probably sell, as well as, I almost just looked out the window at the giant mushroom store, but that's not here because this is a creative mode. So yeah, I might sell sea pickles, turtle shells. Thinking about these aren't definite, but I might sell turtle shells and I might sell ice, but it'd be packed ice, not normal ice. So I'll get rid of that for now. And then for the roof, I've just gone with ice again above this water right here. And I think the store's quite nice. I think it could use a little bit more black on the outside, so maybe the end like strips here or some of the blocks I might trade out for blackstone or polished blackstone before I build it in the actual server, but right now I'm pretty satisfied with it, and I think it looks quite good. So the portal will be about this height, so when we walk out a portal, yeah, that looks really good there. Now we're back at the monument area, and I've done quite a lot. Clearly, the entire monument has gone, and that was a real pain to clear out, I'll tell you that much. Especially near the end, when there wasn't a whole lot of spawning spaces for the Guardians, so they all kind of funneled into that one or two rooms at the end, but very, very handy to have the invisibility potions on me, because it just made it so much easier. So much easier. So now all the ravines and the entire monument is gone, I am able to TNT this whole place up. So I'm unsure how I'm going to do it. I'll probably just have strips to go back and forth, but I have to make sure that they don't get too close to the sand walls, especially in the corners. So, because if this part of this wall right here and that corner right there all just fall down, then this water can just come back and flood a certain area, and then I got to sponge it out or rebuild those piston flying machines, and that's something that I really, really want to avoid at this point. Also, I just want to show off how much prismarine we actually got from that, because it was a lot more than I expected. So that's almost a full shulker box, and 3 full shulker boxes of just prismarine. These 3 are all completely full of bricks, and that one is mostly full of bricks, with a lot of dark prismarine as well. But I really didn't expect that. But although it is a massive, massive structure, I just really did not expect that much prismarine to come from it. So this area right here is where I've decided to construct my ocean store, and I've done a bit of terraforming at the front. This was all just like chaos down here, but now it's all flat, because I intend to build a modern sort of garden around this area, maybe a path connecting to this, and some other stores might get worked on in this episode. But yeah, so I'm going to work on the ocean store right now, and let's crack on and get it done. before I turn around and show you what I've done, I'm going to say, I'm going to warn you that a lot has changed. It's not just the build that I've just been doing, it's a lot of the surrounding area, and you can see some of that by the quartz that I'm standing on. This was jungle, I think it was oak actually, I think it was oak stairs, and it was dreadful. So I've made it a more fancy quartz, and I've moved the portal quite a bit to the right. Where the andesite patch is on the left of me is where it used to be, I believe. So yeah, just a quick warning. Yeah, I've been on a bit of a grind to do a lot of a nice path design. I kind of like it. I had a few earlier versions that weren't quite as good, but obviously it's meant to be grass in different colors, intentionally done, not because it's like moldy grass or anything like that. Intentionally done by whoever makes grass for like football fields and that. They could have done this, I don't know. But I also connected the store to my other store up here. You know, you're meant to use this part, the grass and the concrete powder in the center, but it's just a lot easier to go up the quartz side, and it connects to my other store. And I might connect it to all the stores, but I will have to run that by the other members of the server because I can't just make an executive decision like that affects absolutely everyone. But I think it's a nice design, and it would be good to have it continue all over the island as opposed to just in my little area here. Yeah, so I've connected it to this. I don't love this part, but that's okay, I'm not going to mention that. And just a little bit of a lookout over here because I wanted it centered and the same shape somehow, the same shape, the symmetrical is what I was going to say. I've also designed a waterfall. I kind of like it. It's a lot better at night because these are end rods, and it's meant to be like a spirally glass, modern minimalism sort of design, and I like it a lot. Actually, it looks really good, especially at night, especially at night with shaders. But everything looks good at night with shaders, so that's not much of a compliment. And I've also done a lot on this store, as you would have seen from the time lapse, but a lot of this wasn't in that time lapse. For example, the ocean at the top, that was afterwards. I do like that. It's very nice, especially when you're flying from, say, the savannah. No one goes to the savannah, but if they were, they could still see my store, and then it says ocean. But as you can see, there are quite a lot of holes in it, and there's no roof, and there's a lot to be done. That's just my conduit, so you get the conduit effect. There's still a lot to be done, simply because I ran out of dark prismarine. I knew that I'd be limited by my supply of dark prismarine that I just stole from the ocean monument when building this, but I didn't expect it to be this bad. I got that bottom section done, and that's it. What I wanted to have was dark prismarine stairs through this area, and I've also decided, like post creation of this, that these strips down here will become dark prismarine later on, because it looks a lot better. But obviously I can't do that right now, and there's really no point in me taking those out, because then there's even less of a store until I really get the Guardian farm up and chugging. So that's going to be how it is for a while until that's done. But I also use the ice in the glass, as I said, ice as glass, as I said in the creative, and I think it looks really nice, except for down the bottom when there's water behind it, so it doesn't have that transparency that is, pretty clear and very, very cool for the other levels. It's just this one that doesn't look so good. Anyway, moving on to the inside of the store, I've made a very sick 3x3 piston door designed, I believe, by Mumbo Jumbo. I'll put a link to that in the description, of course, because that's not my original design. I do like how I've used the quartz pillars and the chiseled quartz blocks to have this, because they work together so well, especially with that, if I move my cursor off it. And they link together quite nicely. And the button's over here. I'm not sure why I hit it and then added a sign. I might change that later. But yeah, there's clearly a lot of delay in that button press, unfortunately. But yeah, not a whole lot I can do about that. I will add elevator music down below somewhere using note blocks, so that'll be a cool touch, but not yet. Anyway, so this is the inside. It's meant to indicate sort of a conduit feel to it, with the prismarine bands going around, because that's it's similar to what you'll need for a conduit. Speaking of, there are conduits over here, so will be conduits over here. And this one over here had a trident, this one right here, but because I lost my trident somehow, somewhere, not sure how I did, but I've lost it, I will be taking that back. These ones are nearly stocked up, even though I haven't actually started the farm. That's just how massive the monument was. No dark prismarine yet. I have a few sea lanterns. Actually, I have a stack of sea lanterns, that's not a lot. And these ones, that'll be turtle shell, that will be trident. I also sell ink sacks and sea pickles, I believe. And that's the inside of the store, quite nicely done. And I'll bring on my spectator account to have a better look at the redstone below here. Alright, I can't give you a great view of the door because there's blocks in the way, but if those of you who want to watch the Mumbo Jumbo video can, you'll get a pretty good vision of it then. So this is nothing at all different to that. Just the way that I powered it was a little different. So there's a button over here, because normally it's powered through a block behind this dark prismarine with a lever, and I didn't want to use a lever, and I didn't want it all the way up there, because if you're on the ground, then you have to like jump up or pillar up, and that's fine. I didn't want that. Then I could have had the button over here, but then I wanted it over this side, and then I covered it with mycelium anyway, so it was a weird decisions all around. But anyway, so what I needed to do was I needed to convert it from a lever, because my plan was to have them be able to close it from the inside, but then I later realized that there's water everywhere. You wouldn't be able to have a lever or a button because it would just destroy it, and then there's really no point in closing it on the inside anyway, because they don't need any safety in here. First of all, it's a mushroom island, but also it's probably just 20 seconds if they're going to be in here. So I kind of wasted my own time thinking I needed a button instead of a lever, but that's fine. Anyway, so then I needed to use a flip-flop behind here. I just used the good old cauldron one that I also used in my base that you will see later, to convert the button output into a lever, which is not too difficult, and then just an observer chain that goes all the way down to carry the redstone signal through, and then a repeater to delay it. A repeater to extend the signal because it just wasn't long enough, and then just one of these bad boys, another flip-flop is what that is, and then continues through, then repeaters because the signal didn't last very long because this flip-flop only gives an output of 3, I believe, so I needed to extend that quite a bit. And I originally had it on 4 ticks, which had a lot of delay for the button, but I've reduced that and it still has delay, which is unfortunate, but that's all the pistons moving for this flip-flop and the other flip-flop. I'm not sure if I need to, but I've built them now, so I don't really care. It's fine. It works. That's all that matters. And then over here, I just have one of those good old redstone dust slab trick elevator thing, tall, whatever, I don't know. It just carries the signal up like that, as you can see, and that puts it into the block that would have received the power earlier if a lever was there. So this took a while. What I should have done to save myself some time was to just build the entire thing backwards so that the input was over this side, so I didn't have to have observers and redstone and flip-flops going all the way underneath. I could have just had a redstone line coming from the button right here up to an input, which would have been about where that observer is. So I kind of wasted my own time, but I enjoyed fiddling around with redstone, so it was kind of okay. While we're in survival spectator mode, I want to have a quick show of the redstone that I designed for my friend's secret base. The only way you can tell it's here is this little 2x2 of not completely filled water, but if you're flying from over here, there's no way you'll be able to tell it. Ignore that. I only know it's there because I saw his game tag down there and then I went to find him. Anyway, so the way it works is you use your shovel to right click and path block this one right here, I believe. Yeah, and that exposes a small sliver at the top here, which allows you to press this stone button down here that is sneaky hidden because no one goes around path blocking grass blocks, and I'll do it in survival later and I'll show you that. But this block right here that I'm zooming in on, and then it exposes the button which allows for the depowering of this redstone torch, which again depowers all this, and it moves that block out of the way, which that is used later on, and then it just unpowers. Let's go with unpowers all the redstone dust, and then unpowers, the sticky pistons as well, opening the door. That's a pretty simple concept, except for the inside was a little more challenging because the block is that one right there, but what the hell is that? Oh, it's his base. Well, forgot about that. Thought it was like a mine shaft or something. Anyway, that button unpowers, removes power from this redstone torch right here, which unextends. I'm so good at English today, like it's phenomenal. Which retracts this sticky piston, which means that this redstone cannot pass all the way through because there's no block right here where the stone one is. The signal just ends, so these ones are all unpowered, which then unpowers the sticky pistons, retracting them and opening the door for when you want to get out. Also, I forgot to mention earlier that there's also a piston behind here that... Oh, Jesus, I had no idea he was here. Yeah, good stuff, mate. Thanks for that. You dog. Yeah, now he's stuck in the base, you idiot. Stuck in the door. I'm not helping him. If he dies, he dies. That's on him. Anyway, there's a piston behind here that pushes this grass block forward so that when this is a path block, it converts it into a normal block, so it's hard to tell. Well, you can't tell that there's a button behind there, but yeah, so if I press the button now, it opens the door, and then I get through. But he has dismantled it because he got stuck in it. The redstone for my door is the exact same as the one that I built at the Mushroom Island for the Ocean Store, because it's the exact same mumbo jumbo video. Again, a link will be in the description. Except that I had to change a few things for the powering. So over this side, this is the button that will be used. Obviously I'm in spectator, so I can't open the door, but I'll do that in survival, or I will have done that in survival, depending on how I format the video. Okay, well, you'll find out. And that button just powers that redstone dust, which unpowers this redstone torch, which changes the state of these pistons. So that one will retract, and that one will retract as well, so that would move the cauldron from this position to where the extended sticky piston is right then, and that'll give a comparator output because there's water inside it, and that will send the redstone dust where it needs to go. So over here it'll power this redstone, what are they called? Target block, which then unpowers the piston, which then unpowers the door and opens it or closes it. This has to be a target block, otherwise the redstone wouldn't work like that, because the way that the mechanics of it mean that redstone dust has to point into it like it does right there, whereas if this was like a normal stone block, the redstone would go up this block and then down there straight away and not go into here, which would mean that the piston doesn't get powered, which is not what we want. And then over here is another flip-flop for this button right here that is the power, and that does the exact same thing. It points into the redstone, the target block, which unpowers the sticky piston. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode where we'll be doing a lot of TNT related things, so that'll be a good one to catch.